Last one before the intermission, so give a big round of applause. Seriously, Shaun Parker. Come on, more than that. When I was 10, one of my best friends was Brian Chestnut. He was a freckled-faced ginger who had the nicest house amongst all my friends. He also had, like, every Star Wars figure. And he had the Millennium Falcon. Nobody had the Millennium Falcon. That thing was like $30. Back then, I thought he had everything, and I would have changed lives with him in an instant. It was frickin' cold that day in the winter in Menasha, Wisconsin. Chestnut and I and two other friends were going ice skating. I had lied to my mom and said that we'd be skating at the outdoor rink at the park next to the Piggly Wiggly. Instead, we were going to be skating soon on Little Lake Butamore. I remember the excitement as we ran most of the way there. It was really close. And when we got there, there wasn't any adults. There wasn't anybody. We had that whole thing to ourselves. And it was awesome. Do you want to know a cool thing about lake ice? It creaks and it groans like it's alive. Also, it wasn't anything like the boring, smooth rink ice. It had ripples in it in areas, and if you really got going and hit one of those spots, you'd shake up and down. There was also snow drifts to blast through, and there was small cracks in the ice that every once in a while would snag your skate and you'd go flying like some cool stuntman, like Burt Reynolds and Hooper. Now, Little Lake Butamore is part of the Fox River, which flows through the center of it. So there was this black ribbon of open water, about 30 feet wide, and we all ice skated out to it. And I wanted to feel the water. So I got down on my hands and my knees and I crawled out. And when I got to the very edge, the piece of ice that my knee was on broke and my leg shot into the water. At that moment, a hand grabbed the back of my snowmobile suit and pulled me back. It was Brian. He quickly joined the others as they made fun of my wet leg. "Hey, do you know you got a wet leg? Looks like you peed your snowmobile suit." I was embarrassed, and I was angry that I could feel cold water squishing between my toes. We skated around for a little while after that, but as soon as we got off the ice, I never gave that day a second thought. It's amazing as a kid how you can completely live in the moment. As we grew older, Brian and I hung out less and less, to the point where when we graduated high school, we had two completely different sets of friends. Now, it wasn't because of anything specific, like a fight, we just drifted apart. Years passed, and my 10-year reunion rolled around. I went mainly because I wanted to see what had happened to my classmates. And amid all those people, like the weirdo newly born-agains, and the people who had grown bigger or smaller, had gotten married, or divorced again, or divorced again, I was hit with some shocking news. Brian was dead. Some people thought it was suicide, but nobody knew for sure. It stuck with me after the reunion, and old dusty memories started to rise. Like, Brian could do this thing where he could fold his eyelids inside out, and it always freaked me out. He'd turn to me and he'd be like, "Hey, Shaun." And he'd have these red, veiny eyelids instead of eyes. And I'd be like, "No, God, stop it." And I could tell that he loved the reaction he got from me. And you know what? I love that he did it so that I could give him those reactions. And then that day at the lake, I hadn't thought of it for 18 years, broke through. If I had slipped into that water, I'd be dead. I would have been sucked under the ice, or I would have been pulled to the depths because of that goddamn snowmobile suit. And as that stupid kid, I'd been angry because my leg was wet, never knowing that death was right there in that water, waiting. It's like Brian had grabbed me and pulled me back again to that memory so that I could see. Because sometimes when you're a kid, you don't see the break when it's given to you. Sometimes it takes 18 years and a friend's passing to open your eyes. It also made me realize that there's something I need to do. Brian, thank you.
Shaun Parker.